Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Animation Breakfast Club with Doig and Swift.
And Swift and Doig.
And those two that pair who we hear.
Hello.
Good morning. It's Tuesday. We're going to be doing Morning Challenge reviews today.
Yeah.
So for the last little while, Swifty set a challenge, character design challenge. You want to describe it a little bit, India?
Yeah, sure. So the character design challenge was just to design a character. I gave you guys 3 characters to choose from. You could do Icarus, Cerberus, or the Snow Queen.
So don't you mean Snow Queenerus?
Yes, Snow Queenerus.
Yep.
And the emphasis was just on coming up with some cool designs that were, you know, based very much in pulling out and extracting what was unique about the characters.
So yeah, I think we've got submissions from about 9 people.
9!
Some folks have submitted multiple like sheets for like their thinking and that sort of stuff.
Interesting.
India says she's gonna load up Clip Studio. I assume that's for drawovers and whatnot.
Yeah.
Is it working?
I hope that my computer can take it. Let me just close Media Encoder and After Effects. Because it seems to be working, but my screen did just go completely black for a couple of seconds when I tried to open something. So
I got you.
I want to make sure that it's going to be alright. Yeah, do you guys have a good time doing it? I thought it might be fun to do a challenge that was just 1 frame instead of hundreds of frames, you know, like we usually do. Ah, redacted, you didn't submit your shitty Mothman Icarus doodles. Damn it.
I think they've submitted others.
Okay, that's good. Good old Mothman. I saw in Pegbar a song about Mothman to the tune of YMCA and it was really good. And I was going to sing it to you and Declan, but you guys were in conversation about something else.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't, and then I lost it because it scrolled up because people were having conversations. So now you may never know. It was really good.
Oh, I know. Oh, that's I'm okay with that.
Are you sure? It was really good.
Like really, really good.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not sure. No, I'm not. No, I'm not so sure.
Mothman. Oh my god. Oh my goth. That's a good thing to say. I might start saying that more often. Redacted is putting it into chat. Mothman, you are a man and a moth. I said, Mothman, you are a moth and a man.
Do.
Yes, something when you flap against my lampshade. I'll find it for you. I'll just search Mothman in Pegbar and I'll sing it to you, Mike, because it's good.
Fair.
Okay. Let me get my screen share working.
It's fun to get chased by the... just let me know when your screen share is ready.
Just let me know when you're coming home. When I be there.
India, we're almost at 3,000 followers on Twitch. Do you want to do something special for the 3,000?
What do you guys think? Do you wanna it's fun to get chased by the Mothman.
Build a snowman.
We could do a hangout with people. Just on our webcams. Just chat.
Yeah. I don't want to be on a webcam.
Okay, well let's not do that then.
Well,
Let's do something you want to do.
we could do a chat where other people are on their webcams. I don't know. I don't like being seen.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, I think I've decided.
You've decided that you don't like being seen.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're going to spend the rest of your life just inside?
Yeah. If I could get like those virtual avatar things to work, then I would just be like a VR green bear thing on a webcam.
Maybe it's a good thing that we didn't do that. Ba, 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 ba.
Look, there I am on screen right now. I'm next to the Swifty bird.
That's exactly what you look like. Doigman!
Dogman.
We could do a celebratory game stream, or we could do a doodle stream.
A draw pile might be fun.
Yay. But every one of the 3,000 people who followed us has to show up and participate in the draw pile.
And the canvas is going to be 3,000 by 3,000.
So we get a pixel each to fill in.
Use your color wisely. We're like 39 away.
Redacted says Jackbox. That could be fun.
I hate Jackbox. It's such a terrible game.
You don't hate Jackbox. You loved it when we played it all together at Thoughtful.
I'm very good at pretending.
Such a liar. You're really bad at pretending.
What's
Alright.
Png Youtuber if he doesn't want to show face? What's that? Is that actually a thing?
What is Png Youtuber?
Are you just meaning like
I'm so
I can just put up an
curious
image and be like, this is me?
But then that wouldn't count. Like, if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it.
I googled it. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's an actual thing.
It uses PNG pictures and it animates.
Oh, I see. I see. So like yeah, I think I get it. That could be kind of fun. Anyway, is your screen up yet?
Yeah, it should be. Morning, Ola. Hey guys, look! The screen is up! Waha! And this is at Appleberry Arts.
This is redacted in the chat, or otherwise known as anime.
Sorry, I didn't mean to surprise you. Redacted. Yours was the first one on the list, so it was the first to get opened. It also has a potato with a crown filter that reminds me of Pat. That is totally Pat! Yes!
What?
That's so specifically Pat.
A potato with a crown filter?
That's exactly what Pat is. Pat is our boss, for anyone who doesn't know, but he's also a potato with a crown.
That is so weirdly specific.
Yes, it is. I'm really happy that you uploaded your thought process too, by the way. Because I love seeing this kind of stuff. Super fun. Alright, let's have a look.
Do you want me to read what they said in the forum?
I do. That would be massively helpful.
So Anime said, I learned how to draw wings for animation thanks to Z. I had a lot of fun using the approach India showed in the stream. I think it was hard to let go of some cool ideas I had, like connecting the mask to the wings, because I didn't find how to make it necessary for his character. I also wasn't sure about keeping the longer braids in because it might be more difficult to animate, but they did have more opportunities with the visual ideas I had in mind to add to his character. Thank you.
Hey! That's awesome. One of the hardest things to do is to not try and cram all of your ideas in on top of one another. So, big kudos on being able to trim and edit your own ideas down to the ones that you think work the best and are the most successful. Like, that's hugely important, because one of the things I see most often with character design is people try and pile a billion things onto the character.
Yeah.
To the point where the character is more kind of the dressings on top of the character than they are the character themselves. So that's awesome. And these designs are cool. I really like them. I'm looking forward to digging into like reasons behind the choices too. But I particularly like the way that you have angled all of these lines. Hold on, let me let me put on a whiteout layer so I can show you specifically what I'm talking about. Sorry if my computer's a bit slow. Make a layer. There we go. So, oh no, I pressed fill by accident. No! Stop! Undo. So having all of these be diagonal is super cool. Like not having any straight lines going on, because diagonal lines like lead to dynamism, lead to movement. I think I also glimpsed on the other page that like tornadoes were one of your inspirations, so getting that kind of twist in there is really nice with all this material. Sorry Mike, go ahead.
I just said that's cool.
Yeah, no. Sorry, I feel like I keep interrupting you. No? Yeah, this is like the diagonal lines on this are really nice. I like the asymmetry in the costume. The fact that you have it over one shoulder, you have this one braid, you have this spike of hair on one side is really nice. On the leg bindings too, I like that one of the legs has only 2 bindings and one of the legs has 3 bindings. That's fun. I think you could lose a little bit of material here. I don't think you necessarily need it. I'm not sure if it's really adding anything to the design. And I think the asymmetry is kind of clearer. Mainly because I'm not sure exactly what it's attached to or why it's winding down around the leg. But having 2 on this side and 3 on this side is nice. It kind of shows his unbalanced nature a little bit. I'd say that you could bring that asymmetry into the wings a little bit. I really like these wing designs, but they do feel very, very even at the minute. So it might be nice to bring just a little bit of asymmetry into them.
So how would you do that?
I'd probably like keep them roughly the same silhouette as one another, but just vary up the feathers themselves. Maybe just a little bit more like that or something. So the overall shape is the same, but one wing to the other is not a mirror, basically. You know, unless you're trying to say something very specific with the wings. Like you could be saying with the wings that Icarus himself is kind of unbalanced and, you know, a bit skew with, but his wings are like the most perfect part of him.
Because they were given to him by someone else.
Yeah, like you could be making a specific statement about the wings being perfect. I'm assuming not just because the tale of Icarus is that the wings melt. But you could definitely, like, you could run with that if you wanted to. There's like another design down here, and I really like the color scheme here where it feels kind of burned. That's nice. So this is, I'm wondering if this is pre-burned and post-burned Icarus.
I think that's the case. Yeah, that looks like that looks like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the way that you've cracked half the mask off. That's super cool. If you're gonna crack half the mask off, I kind of almost want the first mask to have a full head of hair going around it.
I have a little pedantic note, which is that the back view isn't you notice how you called it, there was 2 things on the character's right foot and 3 on the left. The back view
I haven't flipped it. Yeah. That's a good catch there, Mike. Yeah, when you flip your character designs, which is a perfectly reasonable technique to use, and I use it all the time, make sure that you flop any relevant details as well. Flop leg bindings. Yeah, I kind of want a full head of hair here just because I think it would make a nicer contrast with the broken mask. Like, it makes it more apparent that half of it's been lost. If it starts out with this full feather aspect as well. I do like that this almost feels like lightning too. I feel like this would work super well if Icarus was struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Or something. Cool. That'd be really cool. As it is burning up in the sun, I wonder if there's something we can do similar to that. Where maybe instead of that we have like more of a burn shape. I don't know how to draw a burn shape. You could have it like that, or you could have it...
It could be like flame shape.
Yeah. To even like mimic the flames or something. Would be pretty cool. Burn shape? Or mimic flames?
Anime says, I was thinking if the wings and mask were designed by Daedalus, they'd be more symmetrical while the rest of Icarus is not.
Yeah. That makes sense. If you want to go with Daedalus being like this perfectionist, I think that would work well. Especially if the rest of Icarus's design, you know, you very much go for the asymmetry thing. Which you could do on this mask even keeping the overall shape symmetrical like this. You could do little things like you could have one of the eyes ping out more than the other in terms of the mask itself to add a bit of asymmetry on there. I'm thinking of Donnie's goggles and the way that his goggles, they get some asymmetry into that design there by having one of the lenses be a magnifying lens while the other one is a regular lens. You could do...
Is that why that is?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's if I can use each lens for something specific. Though also it must be difficult for him because he must have to like basically close one eye every time he's using them since the lenses are different. And then the overall shape can still be more symmetrical. Although I guess it would depend also where he gets his mask from. Like if Daedalus gives him the mask, you might want that to be perfectly symmetrical when it starts off. Because again, that's from Daedalus. You know?
Yeah.
See, with this braid, I'd be tempted to bring that spiral into it as well. To give it a little more interest. But yeah, I really like the colour scheme here. I like the kind of Mothman-like strings to the back of the head too. And I like the spiral shape of them. I wonder if you're going for a Mothman type thing here because of the way that this mimics a moth so much in the shape of the wings and in the kind of antenna look. Because if not, I'd be tempted to keep it as just one. Just because even adding two makes it feel more symmetrical. And you definitely want it to feel more asymmetrical when he's burned, I'm assuming.
Redacted says, that's the part with the braid I was having trouble with, to keep it simple while including a spiral, but I tried to do that more in the dead design. Laughing my ass off.
Yeah. Well, I just did a really awful spiral on his hair. I don't think that looks good. I think I prefer the way that you did it. It's cool that you're thinking about simplicity first, though. Because that is like the hardest part of character design. Is coming up with these cool ideas, but then also being able to keep them simple. Yeah, there's something about the one-sided braid that I think you should preserve. Because if you add another braid or antenna here, then it starts to feel more symmetrical rather than less symmetrical. But I really like the way that you're showing that kind of burned, shriveled up spiral on the hair. That's super cool.
I'm liking the kind of cut in negative shape through the chest. It's a really nice way to show like they're more incorporeal. Thanks for the follow, Tiny Kurama.
They're so doomed. I like the way that you've like withered the legs away too. It's almost like they're spectral now.
Yeah.
I'd say don't be afraid to have the body flow into that a little bit more. And just like really... Because if they don't have like a physical form anymore, there's not really a need for them to maintain that physicality. You can go a little bit more impressionistic with it. And just taper those shapes a little bit more so they flow into one another.
Is it Aries from Sinbad movie? Is a good example of like
Oh yeah.
becoming ethereal.
Super cool though. Yeah, like these wings are nice with the asymmetry. Super cool. So let's have a look at the thought process. So yes, plague doctor masks. Because of course birds make sense. Flight goggles, yep. I like that. And thinking about blinding the eyes is cool too. Because he's short-sighted. So, the rattlesnake is an interesting influence. Why did you choose specifically a rattlesnake? Thinking about sunburn, that's great. Obviously that like feeds in super well to the mythology of flying too close to the sun. Oh, what a cool sculpture. Wow. Oh, poor bird.
Oh no.
Oh, got all bedraggled. Oh no! Poor birds and butterflies. So bad for them. Beautiful sculptures here. Oh, this is super nice. Look at this.
Yeah, that's
cool
really
influence. Cool. Yeah. I like that idea a lot. I like weaving up to the heart as well, because I'd say arguably the part that is affected most is the part which comes from the heart, like Icarus's kind of faith and belief in himself.
Mm-hmm. The rattlesnake thing is me trying to think of ways to show the contrarian idea. Like, if you tell me what to do, it's your fault. I don't do the thing, but I wasn't as sure about it.
Yeah. I think the snake is a little bit of a stretch because it's hard to kind of connect that back to anything that feels specifically Icarus. I'm thinking about how you could show that contrarian idea. I'd probably show it through a hard-headedness and conflicting directions. If that makes sense. Just in terms of having elements pushing back against one another in the design. Or in the way that you specifically complement this design with what you would design his dad like.
Yeah. Yeah, a good way to show contrast is to have another visual thing to butt up against.
Yeah, like, I wonder if I can find this. In Wonder Over Yonder, they did a wonderful thing with the character designs.
Shineart, thank you for the follow.
So, they, rather than design the characters in isolation, they designed the characters, the shape language of the characters to work against or with one another. I'm seeing if I can find the sheet specifically.
What's Wonder's best friend called?
Sylvia.
That's it. Yeah, so
here we are.
Design would work with Sylvia and against Hater.
Yes. Exactly. So let me just bring this over so you guys can see. So look at these wonderful model sheets. So here we are.
The lava theory.
So you see here they've designed. Let me open this in a new tab. Open image, new tab. They've designed Wonder and Sylvia to slot together.
That's cool.
To show that they're best friends, that they belong together, that they go together. There's all these poses they've sketched where the two of them basically slot perfectly together.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't it cool?
And Hater is an imposing hunch, like a boxing glove.
Yeah, thinking about designing characters not in isolation, but with how they're going to work with and against one another, and how that says more about their relationships and about the characters, is super cool. Such a good show.
Wonder is buoyant.
Like a balloon.
Sylvia's rounded like a flower set.
Hater is imposing, hunched like a boxing glove. Super cool, right?
That is really cool to see.
If there's anything else. I think these are mostly just don't draw it like this, do draw it like this.
I think this shows a really good approach to character design, which is, you know, it's simple but it's specific. You know, like the shape of Wonder, you could say is like fairly simple, but there's a nuance and a specificity to it.
Yeah.
That makes it Wonder rather than...
Like you can see here, not strictly a lollipop, keeping fluid and expressive. It's helpful to think of his head and body as one shape. So it's like a very specific shape.
Yeah.
It flows into itself. And everything flows outward from this. As this expressed outwards.
I love his hat.
Me too. I love Wonder. So great. So it's all about flow. Which makes sense because Wander's all about going with the flow. super cool. Looking at Hater. He's great. Alright, let me ping back. So that's one way you could think about it. Just because the snake kind of feels a little bit like it's pulled out of nowhere. Everything else feels very like elemental. You know, like you have the fire and the tornadoes, the birds and the flying animals all make sense. And then the snake feels a little bit like it's coming out of left field. The delusions of grandeur reflection motif. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's cool too. You see how the lens is shattered.
That's cool.
To show that the worldview has been shattered. So in that way, you would want, before it's shattered, you would want those lenses to be like reflecting the sky constantly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that you can see that's all they're thinking about is that kind of freedom. And when it shatters, that'll make it even more powerful. There we are. Yeah, Daedalus's wing and mask design symmetrical. Makes sense. And it's asymmetrical after ruining the mask of the wings. That makes sense too. Yeah. I'd say that's a strong argument then for making it symmetrical to begin with, in terms of the mask hair.
Yes. I think they said in the chat that the hair is Icarus's own, but it's difficult to know that on view at the moment. Yeah,
I think because on the back view there's this hard dividing line between the hair, it feels like a mask. So, in that case, I'd just weave that more into Icarus's design himself. So maybe you look to have something a little bit more like this. So it's very clear that it's like a part of his head.
That was so fast and really appealing. Whoa.
I just flowed everything into everything else. I have a very specific design sense that doesn't go with everything. You'll notice it's very Wander Over Yonder-ish in that I like everything to flow into everything else, which doesn't always work because sometimes you don't want things to flow into other things. Sometimes you want to deliberately not have that.
Have you given all your notes?
I think so. This is super cool though, Anime. I hope you enjoyed this. Do you feel like it was a different approach for you to do it this way? And did you enjoy working this way? Hey, Animated Moon, you didn't miss anything. We were just looking over the Animorning challenges.
Hey, who's up next? They say thinking in visual metaphors was really fun, and thank you.
Yeah. That's interesting. Darvault says that makes me think that Daedalus would lean more into a bird motif, while Icarus would lean more into a snake motif. And the wings would clash with Icarus's motive because yes, they give him freedom, but he's ultimately incompatible with them, which leads to his downfall. It's an interesting way to interpret it. I'd like to see that. That's cool. So yeah. Nice job.
Good job.
Alright, I'm gonna open the next one. It's Cheshire next. Do you want to read what Cheshire said?
Yeah, they said nothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well then. Prepare yourself. The Snow Queen.
Ooh.
The Snow Queen is a cat. A cute cat. I hope in this world everybody is a cat. A cute cat. Alright, there are 2 sheets here as well, so we should check out the... I think this is going to be some of the influences and such.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Is that Cat in the Hat? This.
What?
The frames, the animation frames at the top right of that sheet is that Cat in the Hatness.
The Cat in the Hatness.
Yeah, or the Cat Returns maybe.
Yeah, the Cat Returns.
I meant the Cat Returns. Sorry, Cat in the Hat is just out of stupid head.
It's more like you said the Cat in the Hatness, and I was like, what's the Cat in the Hatness?
I don't know.
What's a Hatness? Oh my gosh, these cats are cute. Lovely colour schemes. I really like these colour schemes. Feel super icy. I would ask, what was the reason for choosing for the Ice Queen to be a cat? I don't know whether they are in chat. Cheshire, are you there? I don't think you are. I think I would wonder why make the Ice Queen a cat? What does that say about the character? How does a cat epitomize that character and pull out the traits that you want to exaggerate? Because that's one of the things that we're trying to do, is to question like each decision and make sure that no decision is like made without a reason that's grounded in the character.
Yeah, it's maybe written in the notes somewhere.
Ice Queen cat.
There you go.
Face points. Arms sit normally like this. That's cute. Chunky legs. Chunky! You got a cat chef up here too.
Oh, in Norse mythology, Freya's sled is pulled by cats.
Ah!
That's pretty interesting.
And Freya would be the Ice Queen, right?
I'm not sure, not necessarily. I think Freya was Thor's wife? Maybe?
Let me have a look. One sec. Because this would be important to know. Ice Queen sled pulled by cats. Sled cats.
Darkful says, in general, cats are known to seek out warmth, laying in sunlight, hiding in boxes. This could be an intentional twist on that characteristic.
It could be. In which case, I'd probably choose to bundle them up in more clothes, like they're seeking warmth. I don't know.
A cat who was perpetually cold turns bitter in the dead of winter.
I can't find anything about the Snow Queen being related to cats in any way. Cat sledding is a thing in Alaska, though, according to New York Post.
Cat sledding?
Yeah.
Really? That's cute.
Which is good to know.
I feel like maybe this is like the kind of familiar but this. So it's like, what if there was a Snow Queen, but they were a cat?
Yeah. It's always nice to know like the reason why that specific thing was chosen and for that thing to have meaning. You know, rather than for it to not necessarily be connected to anything character-wise. Maybe they just really like cats. Probably. Snow Queen is sassy, cats are sassy. That's true. Cats are sassy. But yeah, so let's have a look. If we're gonna go cat, then I'd love to pull out some more characteristics from the cat and weave them into the Snow Queen motif.
Gotcha.
You know. So maybe doing something slightly more royal and crown-like with the ears. Using the elements that you're given by choosing a cat and then pulling those out and exaggerating them. Let me do this. Ahaha! So you could do something more like
I would be tempted to have like icicle jaggedness to the I think you sort of got that. Like if you look on Cheshire's thing, there is that kind of like zigzagged part to the fur. I think I would recommend not losing that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I tried to just elongate and exaggerate it. So I've tried not to lose that. I'm thinking like if you elongate the whiskers, you could have icicles and dewdrops gathering on the whiskers. Might be nice. Then you've got those beautiful big eyes.
One thing I would say is that in the story, the Snow Queen is the antagonist, and I feel like the kind of softness of the expression and the face of this cat undermines that aspect of the character.
But then again, I was just thinking about the same thing. But then again, like she's known to bring people in with honeyed words. So
she's supposed to be very beautiful.
Well, no, more like having a Snow Queen that looks soft and friendly, but is actually cold as ice underneath.
Okay.
Is potentially could be something that we're going for. You could weave the veil into this kind of tiara that loops into the ear design a little bit to give this kind of crown feeling here.
Ooh.
Make you feel a little bit grander. Because one of the things which I've done here is by elongating the ears and sharpening them and elongating the whiskers, like I'm unsoftening this design.
Yeah.
Which might go against us if the point of the design is to be like, this is a soft character that you shouldn't trust, though.
I think a lot of, like, if you have someone that brings you in with honeyed words, it's sort of like their actions are in opposite to the way they appear. So like I think you don't want them to act soft and nice and look soft and nice, because then you have a thing where you set up the expectation that they are soft and nice. So when you do a reveal, you're like, this is kind of just coming out. You want to have something where there's contradiction happening. So when someone says, "Oh, you're lovely, come in," and you're like, okay, this is a friendly character, and they're like, "Ah, ha, ha, I'm evil,"
and you're like what? But you
like,
look so nice.
If we compare to Frozen, I really feel like the villain twist on the prince character is like so out of. He goes from being heroic to aha, I'm gonna leave you to die in like so short a space of time. I'm like, I understand his motivations.
It's like in anime when someone turns evil and suddenly their pupils shrink and they get this crazy expression on their face and they're drawn completely differently, and you're like, wait a second, that's not the way you've been drawn for the past 30 episodes.
And I get that it's supposed to be like unexpected and a twist, but it's like he made a choice there. He could have just been like, yeah, okay, I can go along with it. Like, it feels like if he had that plan, there would be, I don't know, man. It just felt like there would be more signs of it, or like he doesn't struggle with it at all. It's like, wow, you were just evil, like straight up evil. There's no redeeming features about you. You were just here. Yeah, I feel like there could have been more complexity to his character, where he's like.
And is your problem with that with the design of the character?
Design and actions, like they're completely opposite. They literally just go.
So maybe what would be cool would be to have a few poses of this character. Because if you're going to have a very, very soft, welcoming looking character, you could contrast that with some cool, sharp posing.
Yeah.
You know? And some unsoft expressions on this soft face would be nice. Like, that's the kind of thing that you could maybe do, which is hard to do when you're doing a lineup like this. But you could do some poses to try and explore that side of the personality. So if we're gonna go cat as well, something I might be tempted to do is to really like bring that fur in, because not only does that feel like super royal, but it's also very like winter coatish.
Yeah, that would have been my. I like having neck ruffles and stuff like that. I would have suggested that.
Yeah, it's very luxurious and it's very like I'm defending myself from the cold. But I like, one of the things I like about it being a cat is that that's a natural defense against the cold.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like naturally she's kind of, her body is it's naturally defended against the cold.
Yeah.
And then the costume. So again, like I just want to... Aha, I see some influences behind here. So we've got snowflakes. I think there's some like winter nights here. Some masks. Strong young.
That looks like an owl mask. I mean, I think it's maybe the eyebrow shape. I don't know if you see what I'm pointing at on my own screen, but it's just above the. Yeah.
Soft snowfalls. I quite like this wild hair you've got over here. That's pretty cool. Okay, so looking at the snowflakes, I think that's one of the reasons for these kind of triangular motifs. Is both kind of ice fractals and the way that ice looks when it freezes under a microscope, and
cool.
And the snowflakes. I lost a word for a second. But I think we could maybe weave that into the design more.
Yeah. I feel like the sort of like the dark blue top has a sort of rounded flat edge at the bottom. I would have expected more of a like either a tapering down into a point or like flaring, like either this downward triangle or this upward triangle.
Yeah, you want it to be pointed essentially.
Yeah.
You want it to be like an icicle.
Yeah.
Agreed. I think I would also, one thing which I would like, you can take any of this with a pinch of salt, by the way, because this is just me going off now. So, but this is the kind of thing that which I think would be kind of cool, is to give her a muff. Rather than draping this, because I was thinking, what are these sleeves?
Mm-hmm.
Are they just pieces of material that are just around the crook of the arm? And if so, would it be nice to like join them up more so it's more like a scarf? But then what's the function of that? Is it like she's keeping warm? Is it decorative? In which case, should we make it longer or more grand? And then I was thinking that if you're going to have an element here, it might be nice to have a muff, both because that's defending from the cold, and also because then you can't see what her hands are doing or where they are. And there's something inherently mistrustful
about someone who hides their hands. That's
about someone who's hiding their hands.
I like this review in that we're taking the concept and trying to see how we can weave cat behavior into this character to reinforce the inclusion of cat.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me get your icicles in.
She's charging up her ice powers in there.
Yeah, what's she doing?
She's
toaster. Making coffee.
She's got a toaster in there, making bread.
I wonder if we have like 3 of them. And the Ice Queen seems like a nice place to have a more symmetrical design. Whoop, because she's got
a gun.
She's meant to be she's meant to be this kind of poised, almost perfect character, you know? And as well as that, you know, snowflakes are symmetrical. Weirdly. So you could have this kind of more influenced by icicles like this.
Neither of us have seen the Cats movie, thankfully.
Yes, that's true. We have seen The Cat Returns, but we haven't seen Cats. And then you have this jewel here. I'm wondering how we can bring the snowflake motif into this a little bit more. You know, because I feel like I'm kind of losing that. Let me have a look at these snowflakes. You know what? We could easily just... What if we just make the trim down here snowflakes instead? So we'll just have this kind of lace design.
That's cool.
Instead, that, you know, you would have to actually look at snowflakes and make it look nice, but looking at snowflakes and seeing how much they kind of look almost like lace in the patterns.
I would say though that would be a difficult thing to animate.
Well, hold on, I would simplify it. It's just hard to like go up here and grab. So
Copy and paste.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure.
Oh, I see what you were doing there. Yeah.
Just trying to figure this out. I haven't used this program much, so I'm doing my best. So copy, paste. Cool. Bring this down. Got it. Okay. So I'm just gonna essentially take this nice pattern and it's gonna go down here.
Cool.
Snowflake. Ta-da. And then we can simplify that by having it just feed into this point. Again, very much like it's just a lace trim. And the outfit behind would go like this. You know?
She can cough up snowball.
Oh, that's kind of cute. And then you have these shoulder pads, which I think are an element that you could play around with a lot and do a lot of cool stuff with. Like, what if you were to Fire Nation it? And just, like, make them... Because we're getting this nice spiky silhouette starting to happen here. If you see, with the ears.
Yeah.
In combination. And the shoulder pads feel, like, decadent and kind of royal. And then you can have icicles hanging off them. To show that frozen nature. And then you can have the cloak coming from here, kind of like you already have. And then I'd be tempted to make the cloak itself just trail along the snow. Because she don't give a fuck.
So you'd have it go all the way to the ground.
I think it's more elegant to have it that way because then you can encapsulate her entire shape in it. But again, it would depend what your decision, the reason on your decision for having it shorter. Because you might have a really good reason for having it that way and I don't want to step on that. Step on your design decisions. But there is something like... There's something in the attitude of not caring that your cloak is dragging on the ground.
Yeah.
Especially because the element that it's dragging in is kind of part of you. So you're not like worried about the snow or anything. So I'd be tempted to just make it this like... Give it a huge train. So from above, like this is your little cat with the muff. And the ears, And then the train is just like, I have a cool snowflake pattern at the end or something. All for tail.
Cool.
And then you could, of course, have the inside of the cloak have this cool icicle motif going on. Just making it asymmetrical, because it's always nice to get a little bit in, even if the character, like I said, feels like it could be very easily symmetrical all the way. So it's just nice to have that little bit of asymmetry in there if you can.
And she could have jaggy feet.
Jaggy feet! I like her little delicate paws.
Fair enough.
Like, I think this is quite a nice shape. I think you could exaggerate this even more. Chicken drumstick legs. Give her like a really delicate stance. All that fur's going down to this like one delicate foot. I'm going to move this foot so it's like slightly in front of the other, so she looks like she's standing in a really like demure way. And then, to be honest, I might move this motif down because it feels like it's crowding the muff too much. Michael!
What?
Control yourself.
Crowding them off, no! Should have a snow piggy carry the gun so it doesn't drag on the floor.
Snow pigoo!
Imagine if you had a snow piggy and the handling you like you had more drift, you slide around more.
She would sneeze icicle. And then you'd have this plush tail, which I think is like nice and luxurious feeling. It's giving her slightly more mistrustful eyes by hooding them more, basically. And then I almost forgot that we had the veil. I like the veil as a way to show that she's not entirely being honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice that you can still see her face through it, but she's hiding something. Like, there's a barrier between you and her.
Keeping you at a distance.
Yeah. So I guess basically my feedback is that I think you could like lean into that ice motif a bit more and like guide your decisions, play with the shape language a little bit more and exaggerate things a bit more. Find ways to weave the catness into the design in a way that the catness exaggerates what it is about the Snow Queen you want to exaggerate.
And finding that link between cats and warmth and seeking out warmth and then adopting that into the character. Like, what is her motivations? And reflect that in the character design itself.
Yeah.
So that an example of that is India adding the muff to keep her hands warm. But it also makes her more deceptive. And the veil adds to the deceptiveness as well.
Yeah, the veil was a cool idea. I like that.
Alrighty, who's up next?
Let's have a look. Kurzak! Kurzak!
So we got another Snow Queen. Awesome.
Minecraft villagers have those hands. Do they all have muffs?
Let's see. Kurzak says,
Ooh.
I learned that I'm rusty as fuck with character design. There's probably a ton I can push more with this design. I do want to stick to the wilder blizzard type of personality for my Snow Queen though. Ooh, okay.
Look at this. I love this. It's immediately you can tell exactly what kind of character she is. You're like, you don't want to meet her in an alley somewhere.
Come away, little child. I'll give you burgers.
Yeah. Look at this. This is hardcore. She's taken someone's head off.
Holy shit.
How hardcore she is.
Oh. Oh.
So hardcore.
Kurzik's here. She says, "Is me."
Kurzik, hello.
I'll give you a frostbite.
This is a weird thing to give critique on, but the head that she's dismembered, I would make this person less pointy because her pointiness is kind of part of what makes her character feel threatening and exaggerated. If this other person that she's murdered is also super pointy, it kind of feels more like that's just how people are drawn in this world rather than that's a design choice for her specifically.
Kurzik says previous Snow Queen.
Previous Snow Queen. Oh my gosh. Wait, what is this? How do Snow Queens come into being in this world? Succession story. I like that. Was the previous Snow Queen as bonkers as this Snow Queen is? Question. Let's have a look at the influences you have over here. I like this crown of icicles.
Frostbitten fingers, nice.
Yeah. Super cool. I'm always so scared to Google that kind of stuff.
Oh,
like
based on what you see.
Yeah, because it could be so grody. We've got snowflakes, good old snow icicles, a vampire hunter D.
No, Van Helsing.
Van Helsing, thank you. Look at this dude with the frozen hair. It's all frozen up.
Just Helsing. Oh god.
That's so cool. These gauntlets. All this sharp shape design is really nice with the big shoulder pads. Loving that. Looking at sort of decadent dresses.
What is that thing for like the mesh framing of a dress like that? What is that called?
Is it called boning or something? Look, don't you? It's because it was made out of whale bones.
Really?
Yeah.
What the fridge, you guys? Why would you build it out of whales?
Avo just says boning. Wait, crinoline. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Crinoline, okay.
Oh, Devin, you weren't necessarily. Don't worry. It's cool to see, but I didn't ask you guys to, so it's perfectly fair not to. What else are you gonna do with all them bones? You can't possibly leave them in the creature when you could make dresses from them. It's called boning because men would go under there and bone the women. Not sure that's why that's historically correct. Yeah, whale bones were used to make a lot of dumb things like umbrellas and hoop skirts too. I don't know if it's actually called boning. But I feel like it maybe was. I don't know. What was it? Because I said crinoline.
Gotcha.
So yeah, the frostbitten fingers and the shape of the fingers, super cool.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, makes them feel very threatening and, you know, violent, which is perfect. Very much liking the all the shape design. Is super fun here. I like that you've got the boning still showing through on the skirt. I'm going to keep calling it that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
I think one of my favourite elements is this boot. The way it just goes straight into the legs. That feels so Cartoon Network.
Yeah. And having that icicle heel.
Yeah. I really like the way that you don't have any hard lines there. You have just the colour showing the divide. The dress itself, I feel like we could maybe do something cool with the bottom of the dress. Other than just having it shredded.
Yeah, it's a bit terrible right now. I'm just kidding.
How could you say that?
I just thought I mess with people that I like.
And also, the crinoline. I'm gonna try calling it that. I feel like we're like, not only is it kind of complex to draw, but I feel like we're kind of losing. It could be a bigger feature, I think. Maybe it should be something that is put on the outside.
I feel like maybe the roundedness of the like hip is a little bit counter to.
You could do something like this.
Yeah, like that's kind of where I feel what I'm expecting to see.
Okay, one sec. I don't want to draw directly onto the image.
But I know that's counter to the crinoline.
Well, no,
aspect.
not necessarily. Like, you can have a dress, draw it in pretty much any shape. That's the glory of 2D drawings, is you can make whatever you want a reality. There's no reason you can't have crinoline and this kind of shape for the hips.
Yeah, she should have child tearing hips.
Child tearing hips?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, they are terrible. Oh, it's a bit pointier in the sketch next to it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I see it. You've got this going on. I think you could still bring that up, though. You could still make that mower. See, I'm tempted to bring the crinoline onto the outside to make it more of a feature, but I'm also aware that if we do that, it might end up looking a lot like net and give it more of a kind of sea motif. Like, knowing what visual shapes that you bring out are gonna connotate different things to the audience, I think is important. And I feel like if it looks like a net, we're gonna communicate more Little Mermaid vibes than we are Snow Queen vibes.
I'm not sure I'm keen on how evenly weighted the hips are now that you did, by the way.
Well, we could always have just the one hip.
Yeah, I much prefer that sort of asymmetry where you're seeing, like, it's almost like you're seeing more of the gluteus maximus type part on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, that works well from this 3/4 angle, what you're going to do when she's facing front.
Have them protrude less, maybe.
But if we have the freedom to only have it on one side, then I'm just going to make it bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. I think we can... Maybe if we have like a couple of layers, it will add a little bit of interest to this gown. Just because at the minute there's something about the gown on the bottom that feels to me like we could be doing more with it.
Maybe she adds a layer to the dress for every kill that she makes.
It's got like a million layers and the animators are like, why did you do this?
Yeah, I think in terms of like animatability, you're losing points with the number of additional lines here.
Well, this isn't refined for animation at the minute.
Yeah, I get you.
This is just me trying out the design, and then after that you would simplify it.
Yeah.
Designing with animation in mind is super important, but also you kind of don't want to limit yourself straight off the bat. So when it meets the floor, I wonder if there's anything cool we could do there. Like we have snowdrifts, we have ice, we have these icicles, and we have these snowflakes which have super cool patterns. Like we could always go super Cartoon Network with it.
What if it was...
and just be like, yes, it ends like this.
That's cool. I'm thinking character design wise. What if you do want that succession story, what if she stole the dress of like what would have been a nicer Snow Queen? So she's taken the title of Snow Queen, but she was the Ice Queen or something, and so the dress this part of the dress, which is like broken and tattered, with maybe a relic of the Snow Queen, so it would have really soft shapes to show that she's ill-fitting. Her character's ill-fitting to wearing the dress, but she's like, gotta wear the dress because that's what the queen do, or something.
In that case, you'd probably want the dress itself to be ill-fitting.
Yeah.
As in, you wouldn't want the dress to fit her.
Yeah. Well, it kind of doesn't, because she's like, one leg is like breaking out of the...
I'd say at the minute it looks deliberate though.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you have this tattered...
That's right. The crown might need to be rounder as well. I'm just spitballing here.
No, I like it. Like, keep spitballing, because these are cool things. Like, we could maybe elongate this, which might be nice.
Yeah, it's just like the layers you put on the dress feel like, you know, after snow's fallen, you have those on like roofs and stuff, you have that kind of layered part where part of it's softly falling below, and you have those like stacked layers of soft snow. That's kind of what I'm getting.
Yeah. Like, this is also me kind of thinking in terms of like what we could do that would make it kind of a bit easier to animate in terms of that dress trailing along the floor. And it would definitely be easier to have it swoop up into something like this than it would to have to animate tatters of it dragging.
Yeah.
To give it like a definitive end.
You're trying to build an IKEA table at the moment.
Let me see. Maybe just one layer. And make it a bit more pointed and a bit more diagonal.
Yeah, overall, I feel like it's a really successful character design.
I feel like I've made this too square now. It looks like a skewed rectangle. So I wonder if there's something I can do to assuage that feeling.
Make it look like a ski slope. S-curve it, maybe.
That definitely feels better than I had it before. I think.
Yeah. I said ski slope, but I meant ski jump. I'm mixing up concepts all over the place.
What you even talking about?
Kimmy! Oh yeah, belated happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Kimmy! Whoop whoop! Love these shoulder pads. Love the shape of these. Especially love it in this pose where we get to see a bit of movement and you get this lovely tilt. Super cool. I love the long arms as well. I wonder if we can maybe give her little pointy elbows. To go along with that arm design. Add a bit more violence to that. What are you thinking, Mike?
Not much. I'm just I think it's really cool.
I think maybe the crown, the bottom of it feels a little flat, uninteresting. I think we can give it a little bit of a spike down here to go along with her expression. Gives that kind of narrowed brow expression in the shape of the crown itself as well.
Yeah.
Just gives it like a little bit of interest. That's not just a flat line.
Really, really nice, like, mouth shape as well. That really pointed.
The pointy teeth.
Smile, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I'm digging it. Like, it feels like this is a nice, simple character design that also has like a lot of cool motifs going for it. And shape language going for it. You know, it feels like you could see this character in an animated show and she'd be recognizable.
Yeah.
You know? If you saw her outside of the show, you'd be like, oh, it's that character from that show.
Yeah, for sure. And you probably know, like, immediately upon being like, I wouldn't trust her.
Yes, that's true. You definitely wouldn't. This face shape is really fun too. The way that you have the ear going straight down into the jaw.
Yeah.
Like,
nice choice.
Fun shapes. Looks fun to draw. Probably fun to animate. I'm not sure if we really solved the problem with the bottom of the dress. Like, I do stand by the thought that I think there's more we can do with it, but I'm not sure if the solution I came up with like is any better.
Can you try doing like a soft snowfall shape? Just for
what is a soft snowfall shape?
Just like think of snow on a roof. Let me find your reference.
What part are you talking about specifically?
You know how where it meets the roof and then there's like an overhang and stuff, like something, you know.
I mean, what part of the dress?
Oh, where it hits the floor.
Where it hits the floor.
Yeah, like it would have a big fur ruff, but it would look like it would be snow. You know?
I mean, I could add a fur ruff. I kind of know what you mean by that, but I'm not sure what you mean by making it.
I just think more rounded shapes like this to the bottom of it rather than spiky. That's all.
But that goes against the character design.
I know. Well, that was, yeah. Remember my idea where it was like she'd stolen the dress. That it doesn't matter. Like you're saying, you haven't fixed the issue of it hitting the floor.
I haven't.
Giving you an alternative that, like, the dress is stolen.
Yeah, but then you feel like you have to wear that motif into other places as well. Like, if you're gonna make the dress stolen and for that motif to clash with her own motif, then we're gonna have to start doing that to every other part of her. So the shoulder pads wouldn't be as pointy anymore. The dress bustle wouldn't be pointy. The crown wouldn't be pointy.
Yeah.
You would then want to put this very pointy character in this very soft dress and outfit.
Yeah.
Which would be a very different...
It would. Yeah. It's fair.
So I think this is a problem that Kurzek will have to figure out and solve. Because I don't think I've managed to get something that feels good enough to be like, yep, this is it.
All right, who's up next?
Keep the camera above the view at all times. You never see the bottom of the dress.
Perfect. Good
this
solution.
is awesome work, though. Yeah, I feel like the boning is maybe complicating it just a little bit. Though I do really love the idea of having these spikes coming out that have kind of been ripped off. I wonder if there's something that could be done to resolve that and tie it together into design a bit more.
I think as it's presented just now, it feels a little bit flat graphically. Like, I can't tell. Like, it feels like it's in the front where I would probably make it be behind her. Like, see how it's overlapping her thigh?
Yeah,
I would have it behind her thigh as if like that's the back of the dress.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have maybe elements coming out. Like, have those spikes on the opposite side of her leg, maybe.
Yeah.
So, like, it's curved like that.
No, I see what you mean. And just I think even then, it's going to feel a little bit like an afterthought with the design. Like if I was going to be drawing this character from memory, that would be the part that I'd forget every time, I think.
Gotcha.
And I wonder if there's a way that it can be woven into the design a bit more. Yeah, but Kezak, I hope you can figure it out. I hope the feedback was helpful. We didn't give a whole lot because I think the design's already working super well. I think you did a really good job.
Who's up next?
Let me have a look. Awesome work, Kezak. Thank you.
Oh, I didn't read what Kurzak said. Oh no, I did. I'm good.
Okay. Devin! Devin! Oh yeah, Devin. We should do that Hades stream soon because I'm officially off work.
That could be the 3000 thing.
Space Icarus! Or Space Carus!
Cool.
That's awesome. Heck yeah. Young, daring, over-eager space pilot painted the hot rod flames on the back armor himself. He just thinks it looks cool, but it's actually symbolic. Wow, I'm so deep. His ship is called Wax Wings. Calls his dad, the lead engineer, Daedalus. Oh my gosh. His dad worries about him a lot. That's cool. That's cool. Let's see. Armor inspiration. Awesome.
Yeah, Devin says that they used Greek armor as inspiration, and it was really fun trying to find ways to combine two very different things that they love, space and Greek mythology, into one design.
It's a really fun idea. I like the take of having them be a space pilot and their dad constantly being worried about them. It makes me feel like this could be some kind of on-running series with these characters. Like, super cool. Having the logo of the wings on the back is a nice little nod to those wax wings, and having the spaceship be called Wax Wings is awesome. I like that. I like these little wing motifs you have on the joins around the bindings on the legs.
That's cool.
That's super cool. And thinking about looking at Greek armor for this is a really cool idea. Let's see. I think there are some of the shapes we could ping out more and exaggerate more to make it even stronger. Make it even stronger. I'm just like trying to keep both this on screen and him on screen at the same time so I can keep looking between them.
Gotcha.
Did you look at anything else for the space suit itself, like beyond the armor? Let's see, so what I'd probably do most of all is just to exaggerate some of the armor shapes a little bit. Like, you have these really nice swoopies going on here. I think I'd just exaggerate them, like really ping them out like this. To make the shape language stronger and more definite. See, you have it finished just above the feet. I like how you've kind of done a sandal design with the boots.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's just me trying to make the shape feel more definite. You look at some reference from Star Wars and Mass Effect for armor inspiration and Voltron. Cool.
It would be interesting to see, like, I know the white bands are got asymmetry, but if you had them on both legs, it would feel like they're wearing you know, a tunic skirt thing, which would have been... Oh,
interesting, great. Mike. Interesting. I like that idea.
Maybe you could just have one band, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You could do asymmetry in the number of bands. Like, let's try it. That's a cool idea. So Mike's saying that if you have these bands echoed on the other side, even just one, then you're almost like creating this kind of tunic shape
Yeah.
for him, which is interesting. Yeah, Mike's full of cool ideas. It's super helpful to have Mike sitting by me when I'm doing like design stuff, because he'll occasionally just come out with genius.
Aww.
La 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 la. It's true. I like these bands. I wonder if there's something more we could do with them in terms of design. Let me think. Just because this is going away from us, I'd loop that the other way. Have the edge of it be concave rather than convex.
That would be showing the contour. It gives your arm a little bit more solidity.
Yeah. What can we do to make these bands feel a little bit more specific to the character, do you think? Like, we have some nice spiral motifs going on from the original armor here that I think could be cool to kind of take in the direction of like clouds almost. So it's another sky motif.
Yeah.
We have flames, we have wings to work with.
Yeah, you could reuse the motif on the bands on the leg and have like those wing feather shapes somewhere, maybe on where there's, you know how there's that line where the wrist is, the second line where the wrist is, you could have like...
Just have it there.
Yeah.
Wah, 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 wah. Just carrying through that motif because I really like it. Cool. And then in terms of the armor here,
I like the feeling that see, with the black strapping stuff feels like a harness.
Yeah.
Which is reminiscent of like how they would have like put the wings on like Icarus. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, me too. I like the inclusion of this neck guard as well, but flipping it backwards so it feels almost like a popped collar. Okay, which kind of adds to the cocky bad boy persona he's obviously going for.
Yeah.
I think we could potentially exaggerate that popped collar a little bit. Exaggerate that armor and just ping it out a little bit more.
Oh, cool. Devin's screaming, yes, Doig. That's what I was going for.
Yes! Super cool.
Yes, Doig!
Yes!
Yes!
Might move it up a little bit so that his posture is more like chest puffed out.
Chest puff.
Chest puffed. Pop that chest. In which case I'm going to just move this shape up a little bit. And move the collar up with it because I don't want to lose that. It's a really nice shape. The harness is a great idea. Loving it. And then we have this cool chest armor going on. I always just want to make any armor feel super big and beefy. Think Hades. And how kind of solid and beefy they make everything feel. And then I'm just checking out what the armor looks like. Just gonna exaggerate these shapes a little bit.
Yes, yes, Hades.
this is I'm just exaggerating a few of the shapes on the armor, and then I'm letting a few of the lines flow together a little bit more to make it a little bit easier to draw. That's all I'm thinking with this overdraw. It's not like a huge redesign or anything. It's just me flowing a few of the lines together a little bit more. And he gets his swirls. And then just slowing this down. And in terms of the hair, I think there's probably some more we could do with it. We could exaggerate it a little bit more, I think. You know? I like the thought of his eyes being golden as well. Like almost fiery, glowy eyes. They don't necessarily have to glow, but to have them kind of intense with this inner fire, I think makes a lot of sense. With the hair, you could just exaggerate it. Or we could look to like redesign it, put more shape into it.
I like the combination of Icarus and space as well, because you know, in the sort of Greek myth story, it's like he's flying in the upper atmosphere, he's flying too close to the sun. But in space, fuck, that you could get way close to the sun.
You could go fly into the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like exaggerating this this top bushel of hair here. Because it's very wing-like.
Sorry, Darkfolt's like, don't fly too close to the sun. Which one, Dad?
So many! God, you're always like this!
Icarus, I've charted your course, and you will see that I've made sure that you fly close to no suns from here to the Galaxy B.
There we go. So you could model this a little more after a wing and have it exaggerated a bit more. I've also given him a super strong chiseled jaw just because I have. Because I feel like strong personalities need strong face shapes. That makes sense.
Oh, look at that wing.
Yeah. What I'm thinking. Give him super effing broad shoulders.
It's such a black hole, Dad.
God, I hate you!
Go to your space station, Icarus.
More like Dickarus, am I right? Right, so on the back, I love this wing design. I'm wondering if it should be moved slightly further up. Like, you can always shorten these harness clamps to give yourself more room. Because it feels like such a nice motif to the design. I kind of want it to be more of a feature.
Thumbs up to that, yeah, I would agree.
So, let me... How am I going to do this? Just going to trace what you did. Very roughly. And then I'm going to bring it over and just scale it onto his back. That's my plan. I feel like something more like this size. So you're really like leading into that motif and showing that off because it's a cool design element. And he would want to show it off too. Wow. Wow. Love how he sticked that butt out. I think that's like all the feedback I have for this one potentially. Because I think I think all the motifs you have are working super well. Like, I look at it and I can feel the the Greek design influence in the armor, and I can see the harness, and it looks spacey. So I think everything is kind of being achieved. I think you could just push the shapes a little bit.
Sandal boots as well is great.
Yeah, that's all it is, I think, is just you taking this and then pushing it up by exaggerating these shapes and really like refining the little details. I'd watch this anime series.
Yeah, give it to me.
About a young hotshot pilot and his worried father.
I'm pretty sure people have they've named like spaceships and stuff after Daedalus. What if
they not named any after Icarus because they're worried that would be bad luck?
It just really is like there's probably like Daedalus class starships in like Star Trek or something.
Yeah, probably. That would make a lot of sense.
You could final space it, and Daedalus is actually the space station, like an AI that's trying to like look after their test tube son.
You want to do your thing? Oh, that'd be cool. I'd love to see the rest of the cast for this, because it would require you to dig into the myth even more and to pull in some of the side characters. Like, figure out why Daedalus and Icarus are on this space station to begin with. It's so much fun to like dig into old stories and then kind of repurpose them and take elements and remix them.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of is like story remixing, which is super fun. Okay, we've got Kimmy.
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 Happy birthday, Kimmy.
Kimmy.
Hey, Buff. Look at this. Super cool. I can immediately see like the Red Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland influence going on here. So nice to see some dynamic poses going on too. Snow Queen, but she's a Queen of Hearts and she breaks hearts. Nice. Nice. Let's have a look at these influences up here. Exploration. Queen. Regal. Attitude. Crown. Drag Queen's awesome. Exaggerated proportions. Queen of Hearts. Camp. Clownish. Snow. Cold. Icy. Round. Sharp. Snowflake motifs. I love the idea of having this like exaggerated drag queen persona side of it. Be super theatrical. Because the Red Queen's always kind of been like that, hasn't she? She's always been like larger than life.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool. You see how different everyone's designs are, even though they're all basically drawing from the same characters and the same kind of influences. It's really interesting to see everyone's individual voices.
Yeah.
In terms of the Snow Queen, we've had like 3 different ones now, and they've all been so different to one another. It's wonderful. So yeah, looking at these broken-hearted shapes and how you can have like half of a heart shape is cool. Figuring out how to get that into the design. Like these poses are almost like fashion poses. It's just like, check out my boot.
Which boot, India?
Which boot?
Yeah.
You mean the boot or the booty?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Let's have a look at this design. So it's awesome. I really like it. I'm thinking...
Yeah, look at the way that like when the heart is like split on those like shape design stuff. Mm-hmm. How that's incorporated into like the limbs, the shapes of the sleeves. Oh.
Let's draw over it so we can show people.
Oh, it's very good. So it's like Kimmy created a little like palette a shape palette for herself. And
Yeah,
then
that's
like,
a great way to think of it, like a shape palette.
Yeah.
Like, you can see the motifs all the way through. Get these half hearts all the way through. It's a really cool idea to think of it like a shape palette.
Yeah.
Where you have these shapes to use to build what you want to build. I like that idea a lot.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
A chapelet.
A chapelet.
Yeah. Shape palette.
I see. I see. And of course the hair shape and of course the face shape and the mouth shape are also all hearts. Which is wonderful. The one thing I'd say is that because of using all these circular shapes to kind of construct the characters come out feeling very like bouncy and fun and almost jester-like.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of sharpness about her, which of course is totally fine if the queen you're going for is a queen who is very much like, let's play a game. I'm into games of death. I'm a super playful person and that's my nature. Then that makes sense to use these kind of rounded, bouncy, playful shapes. If you wanted to make it feel slightly more dangerous, you might want to incorporate some more of the sharp shapes in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could also think about negative space. So, in terms of the hearts, you could carve into her shape using hearts instead, and that would give you more spiky shapes basically to play with. So, for example, if you wanted to get some spikiness on these shoulders, you could think about carving hearts in like this.
Whoa.
And using the negative space of the shapes as well as the positive space to achieve the kind of thing you want. Does that make sense?
Negative space.
Negative
shape
space.
Design.
Shape design.
Wow.
Just to balance it out a little bit. So you would end up with this like combination of positive and negative shapes. That would just like, you see how that's already like sharpened up that design to a point where now it feels more threatening.
The shapes you don't see are the ones you feel the most.
I love how into this Doig is. You could bring this into the collar and the collar could go straight into the hair. Like so! This is just a suggestion, by the way, you don't have to take this. But if you find yourself wanting to use a particular shape and you're kind of stuck by the connotation the shape has and the way it makes your design feel, you can always use it as a negative shape instead. Or in combo with... And I'd be tempted to splay this out a little bit more. It makes it feel a little bit more chaotic. Do that. You could make her hair huge. I won't do it here, but you could have her hair so huge, dude. You could make it like fucking the hugest hair. Just like
As she gets angrier and angrier, her hair could like inflate more and more.
Okay, no, I'm having too much fun. I'm gonna leave it like this.
And Chris is like, bigger!
Bigger! More hair! I think this is also a thing of all the shapes have very equal weight here.
I was about to say, yeah.
You know, it's all very like boop 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 boop.
So you want to snowman that bitch.
So you want to have like contrast big shapes with small shapes. to get more of that contrast into the design. So, in joking about embiggening the hair, actually, I think it does help the design to have a much larger element in there. A good way that Chris Oatley taught me to think about it was never go small, medium, big in terms of your shapes. Always go small, big, biggest, or smallest, small, big. If that makes sense.
And yeah, can you explain that a little bit more?
Okay, so see, we have cubes, right?
The bigger the hair, the closer you are to the Lord.
The closer you are to God. It's true. So here we have 3 cubes, right?
Yeah.
We have small, medium, and large. And people will think that if they shuffle these shapes around, they're using like good shape contrast because the shapes are of different sizes.
Right.
But there's not a whole lot of contrast there. What is better to do is to have largest, large, and small.
Oh.
Or to have...
So that the contrast, the difference between them
is greater.
Is
skewed more in one direction. Or to have big, small, smallest. Like, these are more interesting to use than this, which is too regular.
It's like the difference between each one is not the same. Like if you look at the rate of decrease in scale between the topmost, where it's large, medium, and small, the difference between them is the same. Mm-hmm. So even though they're not the same, you're getting that kind of...
The negative space again. Is
negative space design.
Yeah, the negative scaling, I guess you'd call it. Well, the degree by which they're scaling is very similar.
It's the comparison. The change in comparisons between the shapes is like not linear. It's not predictable.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So it's more interesting to do that, and that's super useful in character design. You know, when you want more contrast to give yourself more interest. So let me see.
Tiny feet.
Is she always on her toes like a ballerina? It looks like she is from this. So I would just uneven these feet a little bit, skew that diamond, essentially, to make it feel just slightly more natural, but keep that shape. Skew diamond. She's a skewed character. And I'm looking at these braces and I'm wondering if there's a way that we can have them less straight. It's just increasing that belt size to add a little bit more contrast. So that the belt and the straps aren't going to be the same width.
Kimmy says she's like somewhat on ice skates, but can be posed like a regular shoe as well.
Ice skates is such a fun idea. Yeah. Though, ice skates is a really fun idea because you could generate those herself using ice, right? They could literally be ice skates.
Yeah, or she could be generating ice beneath her to always be skating.
Yeah. I kind of love the idea of having ice skates though, because they're almost like little raptor hooks. I will use my blades and destroy you. But yeah, I'm trying to find a way to have these braces not straight.
I
think it might be nice to bring that crack down Michael, stop! Every time I say muff or crack or boning this stream, it's just to like bring that broken heart motif down a bit and destroy the symmetry a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah.
I don't like the way that joins onto the collar.
We're not here to fight. We need your help.
Even though literally every time we talk to you, you double-cross us, kidnap us, or threaten to destroy everything we love.
Maybe we are here for a fight.
Guy!
We're being raided by Invisible Guy.
Invisible Guy!
Welcome into the madness. We're doing a character design review. This is a character design by Kimitron in the chat.
Yeah.
They're doing a design for the Snow Queen.
Super cool stuff. I like the broken heart motif we've got going on with this zigzaggy front. I don't like the fact that I've lost Kimmy's cool snowflake design for the front of the shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want that back.
Let us see what it was like before. Ah, yeah, that is nice.
But I wonder if we can maybe get into the braces instead. Like, maybe the braces will feel okay being straight now that the front of the dress isn't straight. Because before it was basically 3 parallel lines. Now that we don't have that, maybe that'll feel a bit better. And we can get away with it, and then we can put that motif on this instead. I don't want to lose it.
Where it attaches to the midriff, it could be like, you know how braces have those. Like, what?
I'm trying to figure out what you mean.
What?
Let me draw it, and you can let me know if I've interpreted it right. You mean like this?
Yeah.
Don't know if we've got room for it to be
Not
clean in the
really.
design.
Yeah, not really.
It might be better to No, I think that's a bit unclean too. And we could add it as detail to the sleeves, but I kind of also feel like then we'd be adding too much detail.
Yeah.
It's starting to just like there'll be no place for your eyes to rest if we clutter up everything with too many details. I like that we have this going on with the crown as well. That's super nice. That might have to be something that Kimmy like works out when she decides which parts of this feedback to take on and which not to, because it's a shame to lose that, but I feel like we can't force it back in now without it feeling like we're over cluttering the design.
Mm-hmm. Just give her 3 toes. Like bird feet.
Let's see, I might also suggest us making this a little more heart shaped by favouring the hand side to make it look heavier on that side. So it's not a perfect semicircle. It feels more heart shaped or half-hearted.
Half-hearted.
Yeah.
Oh, she's a half-hearted character. She's not fully committed to what she do.
Let's see. In terms of the face, I really love, again, these heart motifs that you've got going on with the nose, with the mouth. Everything's like around this heart, which is wonderful. I do feel like the eyes feel a bit sleepy. Which again, if you're going for a character who's like all about play and isn't amused by much, is totally cool. If you wanted to make it look a bit more sinister, I'd probably reverse those hooded eyes.
Reverse them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like.
So thinking about a heart. Sorry, my mouse has stopped working for a sec. There we go. So rather than the eyelids going like this, you'd have more of this kind of thing going on.
Gotcha.
Like make it more aggressive rather than passive, essentially. That makes sense. So they would skew down like this.
She's pulling, like with that, it's like she's pulling an expression that she's just told a joke about you all the time.
She's just told a joke about you all the time.
Yeah. Like
Mike's staring at me and waiting for him to say something.
like you've got a big nose.
He's right.
Like this.
He's squinting at me like that satisfied cat. You know the expression that the cat has in the meme when someone's holding a knife up at it? It's that expression. Oh, I see. You're seeing this as the eyes themselves.
Oh yeah, are they not? Are they the brows? What's going on?
No, they're the eyelids, you do.
Oh, I just saw them full on their eyes. Okay, fair enough.
You could also make them just full on the eyes like that and have a expression.
Right,
all the
okay, I
time.
see what you're doing now.
I'm just trying to add a bit more edge and aggression to that face pose. And I think that's like all my suggestions. Like you can take what you want and leave what you want.
Destroy what you need to.
Yeah, like if none of it works for you, that's totally fair. I think you did a really good job though. Like this is a cool design and I like all the influences and the way that you have woven those shapes together. It's super fun. It looks like you had fun doing it. I hope you had fun doing it.
Next
Or we talk about how stupid the English language is.
challenger.
You skipped class to go on Sonic the Hedgehog forums. After my own heart. We've got Porky!
Whoa, so many Porky.
So many Porkies.
Porky, what? What? Oh, yeah. Your Clip Studio was like...
Yeah, so this is what happens when I try to open too much.
You've left us in the darkness. We don't know where we are. We can't see any UI.
I hope that my computer comes back. There we go.
Whoa!
Cute.
I like more of the snowness in this one. What? Rabbit spirits?
I guess they're making themselves pets to keep themselves company.
I love the floaty crown.
I like the decision to have a line, a colour hold on the line art.
Ah!
So it almost feels like they're glowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a cute Snow Queen. I do not feel super threatened by this Snow Queen.
Well, the dark eyes are a good indication that there's something a little bit, you know, sinister.
I guess so. I'd still super be their friend.
Yeah, and then they would double cross you. So good design.
Aw, so cute.
Yes, please come into my ask cafe.
Hold on, I think...
Ice cafe.
Let's see. Here we are. So I think this is where we start off.
Oh, cool.
So let's see.
Okay, we got a...
So Ghost, maybe Yuki Onna. So that's a Japanese spirit that lures people into the snow.
Oh, cool.
Because we had one in Mask of the Mountain. And she basically lures you into the mountains where you get lost and die.
Oh, awesome.
More childlike and playful, mischievous. At this point, I'm just taking the younger model and taking elements from different snowflakes as design references. Interesting. Cool. Let's have a look. So we have these little boobly gooblies on top of the head and on the waistband here. And we're getting the Japanese influence with the side parted robe.
Cool.
And then I should just do this. This is easier than me zooming in and out. And then this, where we have these 3-pointed shapes being echoed in the design here. Playing around with taking away the legs. Adding the crown here from these 3-pointed designs. And the shoulders. The thing is, like, this is super cool to see. I think you could push the shape language more because it feels very much like we have a template of a young girl, and then on top of it, we're like, what if we change the hat? What if we change the belt?
Yeah.
But the actual underlying design isn't changing that much. Like, we still have the same face shape with the same eyes and the same figure. You know, at the same height on everything. I think you could push it a bit more like Kimmy was in the previous one, where you're really weaving those shapes into the body design itself.
Is this the because I know that the sheets were numbered. Is this numbered number 1?
This is past 2, past 3,
Where's
past
1?
4, past 5, past 6, past 7. Oh wait, this is past 1.
Okay.
Here we go.
That's why I was just gonna say, like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would have missed this, which would have been a shame. Yeah, like, I think this is a really nice design because it feels like the shape language here is bleeding much more into the actual body shape of the character. You know, like the length of the neck, the slope of the shoulders, everything is working together in this design. Whereas as we get more towards this, it feels more like it's a template that is being like sketched over rather than the design itself being born out of the shapes.
Yeah, it feels like there's a character model that Porky is comfortable with drawing, and it's sort of the more designs that they were doing, the more they kind of designed toward that in mind. Yeah.
Whereas I think this is like a really nice, strong design to start with because everything is working in harmony. It doesn't feel like there's a template under there that is being used. It feels like everything's naturally feeding into its own shape language, and because of that, it feels kind of fresh and different compared to the others.
Really like that long sleeve top left one where it feels like snowfall on the ground for the sleeves.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The hair design here is nice too. It's almost like a hood. So I think you could just you could push the shape design with these more and weave more of these icicle shapes into the character design itself.
Look at those feet. I love those.
Which feet?
Both of them. The kind of like snowfall. It's one and the jaggy. Look, jaggy feet.
Jaggy feet. Yeah, let's see.
Okay, so what they're saying is design thumb phase, Snow Queen can be taken in different ways. Here, I decided to attempt to general shape pass first, see what direction I can take before settling on something. Porky in the document is like, normally it's easier for me to design a character based off personality background, but I decided to start with visuals and theme instead. I chose between a Snow Queen themed racer, a baked potato, or a mythical creature, and end up with a dead snow princess. It was especially tough to create a character through just theme and visuals and realize the character only after I chose a design. But I did want to just do a bunch of designs based off Snowflakes. With the goal always to find a simple to draw but appealing character to animate. I never expected that the complication would arise from another aspect of the design. All I'll say about that is someone on stream mentioned that once Doig sees this, he'd probably be furious. What?
Oh no! Well, you're not. I don't know why you would be.
Yeah.
Does this fill you with rage, Michael?
No. I don't understand.
Are you filled with rage?
Why am I going to be furious?
No, baked as in baked in an oven. A baked potato. Yeah, I think you don't want to isolate what your character's personality is from the design. Like, I like the approach of looking at snowflakes and then designing the character around that. But I think you definitely want to have an idea of what your character's personality is before you do the design, so you can pull from that into the design. Like, rather than to design something then be like, oh, they look like this kind of character, so I guess that's what they are.
Yeah.
You know, you need there to be intent behind the design. So for you to say she's like a playful, childish snow queen who was cut off before her prime will give you a bunch more visual stuff to play with than just saying snow and cold and then trying to put that on afterwards.
That's a motif you've seen elsewhere, where it's like a character trapped in a childlike form, but the ages past it. It can be quite unsettling. It's like a maturity in a child's form. It's like, uh-oh. I've seen it in things like Interview with a Vampire. They like turn a kid into a vampire and she gets really messed up because of it. She's stuck as a child. I don't know, why am I angry, Darkbolt? You tell me.
Like, I think you could, in terms of the snowflakes, you could, you know, choose different face designs based on the snowflakes and the way that those shapes kind of interact with one another. Like, I've just drawn a design over the top of the snowflake here. And it just gives you like a different face to work from. You know, just basically have fun with the shapes that you have rather than keeping it too similar to the other designs. You can really try different stuff.
CXPVDYSQ. Thank you for the follow.
Thank you very much.
I don't know how to read that.
But just looking to use the snowflake in different ways other than just looking to kind of accessorize with it almost.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to put weave, shape design. More inherently. Into character. And definitely, it's cool that you tried a different approach. Like, I think it's awesome to keep experimenting. I would always want to know what my character's like before designing them. Like, have the personality and everything in my head the way I want it first. Because then I can try and bring those traits out in the design. Alright, so we just had a look at these. And then we have a few more variations. And these are all really nice. I think because they're all based on the same template, they all feel very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not getting any wildly different takes here. There's no any one which looks particularly dangerous or one which looks particularly childish. And I think that's just because you're not pushing the shape design as far as you could with these. Having only chosen like one influence being snowflakes as well, being able to mix and match that and combine that with different things.
Yeah.
I like this idea with the floating limbs because she's undead. You can totally have that. It's a nice idea. Like, if she was if she's a dead snow princess as well, or snow queen, thinking about how she died.
Oh, yeah.
Did she freeze to death? Did she like fall down a mountain? Was she assassinated? Like, because all that can be reflected in the design as well, in terms of what happened to her. Like, looking at these ones at the bottom, where you have the tattered bottom of the skirt. I like that because it implies more story behind the character.
Yeah.
Like it implies maybe she was wandering for days and wasn't found.
Yeah.
You know. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, did she fall asleep in a pile of snow and then upon waking in death, it never left her, and so she always leaves this like trail of snow behind.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's always kind of getting frozen to the spot as she moves or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so
oh man, imagine a character who like died because they froze to death, and then their ghost, whenever they touch a surface, like it freezes the surface, but like part of them breaks off and has to reform. It's constantly painful. That's not for this character.
That's so sad.
I just thought that'd be really horrific.
It is, and you'd also have like icy hands everywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe her incorporeal form is manifested with loose snow and ice shards, says Darkbolt, taking shape through her element. Yeah. Maybe she is completely comprised of ice and snow. It should be super cool. But yeah, this kind of stuff where you're implying history through the design choices of the character are like what you're looking for. Like, the character design is like, how much can I say about this character? Just through visuals. So yeah, see. Just taking the fun shape language route for this one. Don't know much about her yet. Want something easy to draw. So yeah, having nice shapes that flow into one another, nice appealing design. Visually, these three got the best reception, so I had Twitter vote for about 30 minutes before I took it down and decided. Oh, nice. I wonder which one they decided on. Which one is your favourite of these three, Mike?
Yeah, the middle one.
The middle one?
Yeah.
I think I like number 3 the best.
Gotcha.
I like the slightly sharper shards. I like the slightly sharper shapes on the sleeves, and I like the tattered bottom of the dress because it implies something has gone wrong.
Not to be narcissistic, but the middle one looks kind of strivish.
That is narcissistic. I think you're just looking at the cloak.
I'm looking at the cloak and also like the ice shapes on the ears. If that shape was closed off, it would be like the ear shape.
Oh, if you had the icicles as the ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to go with Dead Snow Princess at this point. I love the concept of a Dead Snow Princess. I think that's a really fun concept.
Yeah, now we're getting into kind of the... How would you convey that?
Yeah, so this is all the same design but with different colour passes on it. So I really like these kind of underlit passes.
Yeah.
They're my favourites because it feels ethereal and otherworldly to have things lit in an unnatural way.
Mm-hmm. We're not used to seeing things uplit because the natural source of light that we have is above us. So creating that amount of light underneath forms is artificial and therefore feels wrong to us.
Mm-hmm.
That's why uplighting feels scary, is because it's unfamiliar and like it doesn't happen in nature.
Yeah.
So it feels unnatural.
It's truth. So yeah, well, I like all of these colour passes. I like the different colours you're choosing. I think the ones where the lighting feels unnatural are my favourites. I also like the ones with the dark eyes. Like Mike was saying, it's nice to imply that there's nothing inside. It's something which goes against the rest of the design. In the rest of the design feeling very kind of soft and cute. I also very much like this glow. And I know you decided to go with the glow, and I'm happy because it definitely makes it feel a bit more ghosty.
And icy.
Mm-hmm. These are all really nice. Like, the critique that I would have on this design is that it doesn't feel like it's saying an awful lot. Like, if you didn't have these colours on, then you would be kind of hard-pressed when asked about the character to say anything really about them other than they're young and cute. Like, the design feels like... in terms of stuff like the hairstyle and such, it feels like it's put there because it's appealing, but it doesn't go much further than that. Like, why have the cutting on the hair? Why is the hair this shape? Why go with short hair?
Mhm.
You know, if you can back that up with reasons like, well, I wanted her hair to look like it was cut off because her life was cut off in its prime. Reasons like that for choosing design elements are, I think, what you want to focus on. Next time you plow into this snow plow.
Nice.
It's a good joke. Yeah.
Nice.
It's a bad joke. It's a bad joke. It's a gorgeous illustration. I love the thought that she can like summon snow creatures to keep herself company.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful illustration. And then we get to this where we get all the really nice expressions and everything. She is a super appealing character. And it's nice that these expressions tell us more about her personality, which seems very like peppy and upbeat.
Playful.
But it would be nice to know more about her than that. You know, to have a bit more of like the backstory happening, or specifically what her powers are. Like, how does she make this crown? Does she manifest this herself? Or is this like a side effect of what happened to her?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like, just knowing more about like how much of this is in her control. You know, what are her motivations? Does she have any ambition? Is she just looking to make friends?
I like that the way that the crown is drawn in each. It feels like the rotation changes, which suggests to me that the crown spins.
Yes.
Which I like.
You know, does it react to her mood? Do these icicles get super big and spike out when she's angry? Like,
the answer is no.
I feel like there are ways
But
that
could be really good.
Yeah, I feel like there are ways that she could express herself.
Just
Zeb
looking
wants
at-
to animate her. Yeah, it'd be a super nice rig, wouldn't it, to make? Shoveling in all the snow jokes. Yeah, I think she's a super appealing, cute design, though. You did a gorgeous job. Look at this illustration.
I'll say one thing. I really want to see Porky study some feet. I notice in a lot of his character drawings with feet, like they always feel like a little bit too soft-rounded and not. I don't know. There's something kind of.
I think these feet shapes are actually quite nice,
okay.
but I also have problems drawing feet. So
I feel like these feet shapes are the same feet shapes that you see on his other characters, so they don't feel distinct to this character. It feels like a shorthand for Porky.
I would say that about the rest of the character though too, in terms of like the facial design and everything.
Yeah.
Like it feels very safe and comfortable for Porky. Whereas it would be nice to see you try something more out of the wheelhouse and particular to the character.
Much agree.
I hope that you post these up though. I think that people will really love to see these because it is a super like pretty appealing design. And Twitter deserves to see what they voted on. Give them the goods. Yeah, gorgeous work, Porky. I'm excited to see what you do when you let go a little bit more. Not to make a Frozen reference, I wasn't deliberately doing that.
Who's up next, India?
I'm wondering if we should do the last, is it 2 or 3? Last 3 tomorrow. Both so I can give them the most time and so that my computer doesn't die from having too much open.
If you like, yeah.
Yeah, just because
I'm good either way.
our flatmate's gonna leave in 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I need to do things like bathe and collect the mail.
Okay.
And such. And I don't want to rush through these last 3. So I hope that's okay. Ed Craze, you totally should start joining these challenges. They're so fun. You guys really brought it as well this week.
You were mentioning that the next challenge was going to be...
Wait. I have to tell them, look, my computer's dying. Oh, no, it's okay. It's come back. It's fine. So the next challenge for the Anna morning is have a nice Christmas.
Aww.
Or relaxation. Or festive break, depending on if you celebrate Christmas or not. So yeah.
Pablo,
it's a break week for you guys.
you submitted some at the end of the stream.
Oh, perfect. Well, we can look at those tomorrow if that's okay, Pablo. So then we'll have 4 to go through tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you, Mike?
Yeah.
Thank you. I always feel bad whenever I ask for us to cut off the stream.
Why?
I don't know, I just do. I feel like I should be able to get through all of them in one session every time. But I want to
No,
make
I
sure
mean-
that I'm...
I think you're giving like good in-depth stuff. I do think people are getting a good deal.
Oh, good.
Thank
I
you.
hope so.
Or
I hope it's helpful. I hope it's not just like bullshit.
tomorrow, what time does it start?
Probably about 8 o'clock our time.
About 8.
Like it's meant to start at 7:30 a.m. but we are never up in time, so it's more likely to be 8 or 8:30. Yeah, my poor computer. It's not long for this world, mainly because I'm gonna throw it off a bridge as soon as I get paid.
I mean, I was sort of planning to keep streaming, but
Oh, well,
if you think there's like,
why don't you stop the stream
yeah,
and then start streaming again? So rather than it being tagged onto the end of the anime morning challenge stream,
oh, I could do that.
you have your own Piggy development stream if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, although with you saying like Declan's gonna be heading off, I might like
Wait till he's gone.
yeah, and then start
Exactly.
streaming.
Like I don't
Yeah.
want him to be up and then for us not to be able to say goodbye to him because
Yeah.
we're doing
Yeah.
our own thing.
I think that's a good call. Okay, let's raid. We got the usual suspects. We've got Tim Remmers, we got Nick Waz, we got Caro, we got Domo. Who do you feel like streaming?
The
raiding
usual
today?
suspects who haven't raided in a while.
I don't know.
Oh, Moopers, that's so good to know. I'm really happy. It's awesome too, because as a kind of study group for animation and character design and such, we can all critique one another's work, which is super cool. It's so helpful to have group critiques. Because they essentially are basically like learning from a class, except it's something we can do all together for free and everyone benefits.
Let's go for Caro.
Okay. We're gonna go say hi to Caro.
Yeah. Okay. And I might be back later if any of you are around. But for those of you that are like, it's super early, go to sleep. Go sleep now. Go rest. Go.
Yeah. Sorry for those we didn't get to today, but we'll get to them tomorrow and hopefully you'll get a better critique for it because we'll have more time.
I've initiated the raid.
Amazing job, everyone. I love seeing your designs so much. I hope you guys had fun doing these.
Wait!
What?
There's one more thing.
What is it? You scared me.
India, you posted
Oh,
about
yeah!
a thing.
Hey, for those who don't know,
I've already initiated
it's
the raid.
okay, it's fine. Just let me say it.
Oh,
For
let
those
me
who don't know,
Cancel the raid.
no,
It would have timed out.
it would have been fine. I could have got it in. In plenty of time. For those who don't know, my book, Girl in the Glim, it's a graphic novel and it's getting published by IDW, who are the same people who publish Rise of the TMNT comics, and Sonic the Hedgehog comics. So I'm in good company and it's kind of a dream and I'm excited about it. And yay! Thank you guys. Thank you everyone who was super kind on Twitter and also Discord afterwards about it. It's really sweet of you guys and I really appreciate it and you're all really good friends.
Get out of it. Get
And
out of it.
I got scared and ran away from Twitter. So if I didn't reply to you, it's because as soon as I posted it and people started replying, I was like, ah! And then I ran away from the computer.
Look at this.
So I really do appreciate it. Very much. I just get a bit overwhelmed sometimes. So I'm sorry that I ran away before I got to reply to any kind comments. But yeah, this animation is part of a larger one that Mike and I are doing for Girl in the Glim.
Yeah.
Larger as in there's one other shot, but it's going to have music and stuff on it too.
Yeah, we're intending to make a trailer. It'll have a title and everything on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've linked the tweet in the chat if you want to look at the animation on your own screens and perhaps, I don't know, retweet it or comment or like or share with your friends. Let them know. It's a cool comic. It's going to be really special. It's if you ask anyone who has read the first part, which is the first 60 pages, they can let you know what they thought of it. And it seems to have had a nice reception so far. So
Yeah, I hope so. Yep. So for those who don't know, it's going to be 120 pages long. It's going to be a thick book with 2 C's. Thick. 10 out of 10. Thank you, Palbro. I appreciate it. All right, let's go raid someone.
okay.
And thank you guys for all the support. Really, really appreciate it.
We'll
Super stoked. I'm very scared.
We'll probably talk more about Girl in the Glim tomorrow.
Maybe.
And every stream from
Mike
the next
will.
while.
I, in the meantime, will run away. As is my creed.
Cool. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you so much for coming by. I may the rest.
Of your day.
With food.
Adventure.
And girl.
Goodbye, everybody.
Raid initiated. And Ali mute.
Ali.
He must say yes. Make him say yes. He must say yes. Make him say yes. He must say yes. Make him say yes.